sushi gives me the runs.
We are live and on the air with that comment. This is OmniBros Live coming at you with OmniDog here from OmniDog's Vault. And tonight we are going to be discussing book reviews. With me tonight, as always, Comics Guide 101, Luis. Luis, how's it going?
You know. I'm good.
And things are going well. You're going out for all-you-can-eat sushi?
$15 in about an hour.
You can't beat that.
Oh, no, I love sushi.
And from Gabe Infinity Watch, Gabe the Babe. How's it going, dude?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It was a long weekend. I'm in the process of moving my collection downstairs.
Oh, my gosh.
This review is going to be weird because I didn't get these books until like last weekend, so I haven't read much of it. So all in all, this is going to be a fun episode, I think.
Why are you moving your collection?
I don't like the idea of it being up in the attic anymore. I have this beautiful collection, probably better than anybody else's collection. I'm just kidding. But I just got this beautiful collection of books and things like that. And I don't get to enjoy it because it's upstairs in the attic, and it's kind of a pain in the dick to go upstairs, you know? Because it's not like a stairway. I got to pull down like a fucking rope ladder practically and go up there every time.
Oh,
so
okay.
Just all that effort, and I'm going to be able to see it and hang out with it on a daily basis anytime I want to.
Yeah, sure. That's part of the fun.
Exactly.
Moving the bedroom up to the attic and the comics down into the bedroom. Makes sense.
No, exactly. Yeah, because then I could just sleep in my comic book room. That'd be fine.
Makes a lot
Plus,
of sense.
it's kind of hot up in that attic, you know. I don't want to be up there too. I want to be somewhere where I can hang out with my stuff.
Is there no AC in there?
There is, but it isn't the best AC.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think that's probably like, if there's like a priority list of AC vents, that's probably at the bottom. Like, I think it's probably set up to cool my closet and cool my attic.
That makes sense.
Well, before we get started, let's talk about our fabulous sponsor. Luis, who would that be?
In Stock Trades. Gotta love them. In Stock Trades. Jess, why don't you tell them all about In Stock Trades and their unbelievable prices, unbelievable shipping, unbelievable deals.
That's right. They'll ship you unbelievable Gwenpool for up to 50% off on your collected editions. Extra discounts for loyalty, tack on 2 to 3%. They have sales all the time. Every quarter gets you an OmniBroslive extra discount code. Orders over $50 in the United States get free shipping. I still don't know how they pulled that off.
What?
Fabulous customer service, as evidenced by our own interview with Emily herself. And Luis, how do they package their books?
Like a newborn baby being wrapped up and cuddled inside of a nice blanket, all ready for you to take home.
They're very protective of their books.
Yes, they
I
are.
just got an order today, actually. I haven't unpacked it, but I think it came with 3 cubic yards of packing popcorn, so it's going to be flying all over the place.
And if you're a collector or a reseller, you can always use that stuff in your packages as well.
I often do.
Same.
Yeah, absolutely. So today is the book review episode where we review books that were sent to us to review. That's why it's called the book review episode. And I will talk just a second about each book. First, we have Milk, not in this order. We can review them in whatever order you want. Evan Dorkin's Milk and Cheese, Dairy Products Gone Bad, one of the most unique comics around. It's in black and white, except for the part at the very end that's in color. Basically, these guys are alcoholic dairy products that are complete jerks in a very funny way. We've also got the Han Solo book by half of it. The first part's by Marjorie Liu. Then the second part of it's by Jason Aaron. That is a Star Wars book, if you know who Han Solo is. And then a bit of a surprise, Agents of Atlas. That's right, there's a gorilla on the cover. and a robot and a goddess and a spaceman and a queen of the undersea, not named Mira, but rather Namora. Namora.
I pronounced it Namora.
Namora.
That's how I said it.
Okay, that's how I said it in my head too. And this is by Jeff Parker, so we'll have thoughts on that. And we're kind of vamping because Riley said he was going to be 10 minutes late because he's building a pool. So I wonder if he's pouring concrete for a backyard pool or if he's building like the Homer Simpson type above ground pool.
Like the neighbor from Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Yeah. Where that famous Simpson episode where Bart breaks his leg and ends up missing out on summer because of the pool. So what would we like to do? Who would like to start on what book?
You want to? Okay, doesn't matter to me. I have a certain order in which I like them.
Well, that sounds good. Go. You want to start with what you liked the most?
Yeah. Actually, this one surprised me the most because I thought I was going to enjoy Milk and Cheese the most, just based on everything that I've heard and just the aesthetic of it. Surprisingly, I dug the hell out of Han Solo. This was really, really a lot of fun. Major props, especially to Marjorie Liu, who I think absolutely nailed Han Solo as far as who the character is, his personality, and nailed the writing of it down. The big thing for me is, well, I mean, I suck at giving descriptions of story. Basically, the story involving Han Solo is that he is contracted out by Princess Leia. I read this probably like 2 weeks ago. So he's contracted out by Princess Leia because there is a mole going on in the rebellion, and he is enlisted in this race. And the race is pretty much a cover-up for him trying to find out who the mole is. Along the way, there's backstabbing, yada, yada, yada. It's a fun read overall, and I thought this was probably the best of the three that we read. I really dug the art by, who did the art?
Mark Brooks.
Mark Brooks. I thought the art by Mark Brooks was very, very strong, very well done. And the thing is that with a lot of these titles that you have an established property, that you have established appearances by actors and characters, they have to nail the look down. Because in my mind, I know what Han Solo looks like. I know what he's supposed to look like. I've seen the films and things like that. And Mark Brooks really captures that and really nails just even the mannerisms of Han Solo, the way he stands or the way he moves his hands or the awkward pauses. So with that, I got to give him a lot of credit. The second story in here, because Han Solo story ends, I think it's 5 issues, involves, and this kind of threw me off because the second story starts off on issue, what was it? Issue 8.
Yeah.
From the Star Wars story that Jason Aaron was writing. And I come into it, and it's basically in the middle of a conversation because the issue 7 ended on a cliffhanger. And it starts off with, wait, Han Solo has a, hold on one second. Sorry. Keep going, Jess.
So let's see. So I guess Star Wars number 7 ended with the reveal that Han Solo apparently had a wife.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, the big reveal is Han Solo had a wife, and it's cool, but it feels like I came into the middle of a story that was already going on because that's literally what is happening. So it doesn't necessarily do a great job of catching you up because there's this situation with Luke where he's trapped on this planet and he meets this guy named the Grand Master, who I think is actually pretty badass, and Luke is searching for something. But I kind of come into the story and I feel like I'm a little bit lost. It felt more like they stuck in, and Han does have a part in the issues 8 through 12, but it kind of felt like those issues were stuck in here because, oh shit, we need to fill in a hardcover collection. So that's my 2 cents on this one. But other than that, if you were looking for a great Han Solo book, if you enjoyed Solo, I still haven't seen it. I need to. Definitely check this out. It's really worth a pickup. Just know that the caveat, I recommend you read the first 7 issues leading up to the original from Jason Aaron's Star Wars story.
Is that collected in anything? Do we know?
There's
it must
trades
be.
of it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good idea. Gabe, what did you think?
I had the exact opposite feelings on this book. I didn't like it at all.
Well, that's why people tune in. They want the real deal. They don't want a bunch of yes men. They want real opinions.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, you know, I've said it plenty of times. I'm not a Star Wars guy. I mean, this stuff, I don't really have any kind of attachment to Star Wars. Maybe that's why I enjoyed Solo, because I didn't bring my childhood into the movie theater with me to be, you know, destroyed. But with this book, I agree with Luis 1000%. Mark Brooks's art in this book is awesome. Every panel, because he's normally a cover artist. He does like some amazing, incredible covers. But I've never really seen him do like interiors before and storytelling and stuff like that. So it was really surprising to see that. It was really good. I think every image he does is at least 75% quality of being a cover. Like every panel is just short of being a cover itself. But the things that Luis enjoyed, like the awkward pauses, like all those times in this story where they took that beat and that panel, that was that beat panel, and it'd be just Han Solo looking awkwardly, and you're supposed to kind of be like, dun, 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 like something just happened. That awkward beat was just like 3-4 times an issue it got to at one point. I just really got sick of it. It kind of threw me out of the story. Every time it happened, I couldn't deal with it anymore. And I didn't even know who the writer was. And then after I got done with the story, I go, oh, it's Marjorie Liu. I guess I'm not going to be too excited to follow most of her stuff if that's her normal writing pattern, because it just seemed like this terrible crutch she was using on that writing trope over and over and over again. The story itself, like there was like 50,000 twists and turns. I couldn't really keep up with what was going on. It was supposed to be like a mission to find some people who have ideas of who a mole is. And then it turned into a race to find that mole. And then in the middle of the race is somebody trying to save their people and their race, where they're the only person. And somehow winning the race changes all that. There's just so much going on at once. I just couldn't keep up. I mean, outside of that, the art's beautiful. Some of the storytelling is off. There's a few times in here where I saw word balloons that I wasn't sure if they were pointing to the right person. Just a lot of things like that. That just everything with the spies and who's the traitor, and it's supposed to be 8 traitors who get together at once, and nobody can tell who's who, and this weird, just kind of like idea behind this. It's your basic smuggler story. It is basically a sci-fi-ish version of like the Transporter or Fast and the Furious. It felt like to me. A lot of cool action and stuff like that, but just the main story was the good part, and then all the mixed in stories that Marjorie Liu threw into the story over and over and over again really just diluted what it was. It became like a stew, and I was hoping it was going to be a sandwich.
Good analogy. And joining us a little bit late, but he's just gotten done pouring the concrete for his backyard pool.
I poured the plastic for my above ground cheap ass pool.
Okay. This is Ryleymo, the Omnibus Collector, and we're talking about the Han Solo book. So your timing is perfect. Do you have an opinion? I bet you do, on the Han Solo book.
So I've read that story twice now. The first time when it was in single issues, I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh, cool, this is a neat story. It had some neat things going on in it. And then I don't know what happened between the first time and the second time when I read it before this review in the collected edition, but I was kind of had a very different feeling about it. Like I was reading through it really quickly, I guess, and as one solid story, I just didn't feel as attached to it. I didn't feel as happy with the quality of the writing in there. And I think that Gabe was right. Like, that's kind of what I was feeling. I'm sorry I didn't hear anyone else talk about the book, but in that there was too many moving parts. And by the end of the storyline, like, it was so much going on, and I kind of had forgotten each moving part as we moved on to the next moving part, you know? So it was a little, I was a little disappointed with that second read through. And that sucks because, like, I suggested that book because I was like, oh man, like, this was a fun mini series. You guys, you know, we're going to enjoy it. We can have fun with it together. But now, like, I don't know how Jess and Louise felt about it, but I wasn't quite as fond of it as the first time I read it.
Right, recommendations 0 to 1 for me now.
Complete opposite for you from Jess.
Luis, to sum it up, dug it. To sum it up, Gabe did not dig it. You did not particularly dig it. I haven't given my opinion. I actually did dig it. I felt pretty much the way Luis did, that this is one of the few comic books where I actually have the characters' voices going for the book. Usually if I'm reading Superman or Batman, it's just in my voice in my head. But I mean, I actually had Harrison Ford's voice going on in my head, and Princess Leia and everybody else. And, you know, Chewie was making his roar in my head. And I can show some of the art here. It is really, really nice art. I felt that it did have a lot of moving parts, but I felt they flowed. There's a really cool paneling section. I felt they did flow and they did connect well enough for me to follow the story. I enjoyed the central conceit of it, like being death race up in space, death space race, where they start out the race and somebody's shooting at them already in this sort of Kessel run to the max race. So I did enjoy it because it did have a lot of twists in it that I wasn't expecting. It had characters that I dug, and then it came to a very interesting conclusion that I thought had some twists and turns in it that I didn't see coming either. So I liked the story. Luis felt like we were dropped in the second story, like we were just dropped right in it in the middle, because it bounced off a cliffhanger from issue 7. So he recommended that we read, you know, at least the prior issue to this. I did like I usually do with X-Men comics and Avengers and everything else. I just assume something happened and I just go, okay. So I just assumed that this happened, and it involves Luke looking for a lost journal and dealing with Gracchus the Hutt, where he gets captured. Luke gets captured, and what was the guy's name again? He's that he thought was badass, Luis?
Oh, the Grandmaster?
Grandmaster, yeah. Luke's trying to find his way to the Jedi Temple, and Gracchus the Hutt turns out to be a Jedi collector, and he decides to collect Luke. Mm-hmm. And he gets trained in the use of his saber for the purposes of going up against an unkillable, practically sort of gladiator type situation. And everybody's looking for Luke, and then there's a bounty hunter looking for Chewie and Han, and Han apparently has a wife. So yeah, there were a lot of moving parts to that story too, but that was written by Jason Aaron. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was as well done as Marjorie Liu's story, but I still enjoyed it enough that I wanted to continue reading it, and the art's really nice. And there's some good snark in it, and there's some. I mean, I always like seeing an extra hut there. That whenever you see a hut, that's cool to me. I like the thought of huts. So I feel like it was a solid 7 out of 10, and I will be keeping it and possibly rereading it. So I enjoyed it.
I like that they gave us a freaking swole hut. Like Gracchus the Hut is.
That dude is jacked as shit.
He is jacked as shit, and he's got the fucking spider legs, the like mojo legs.
Right.
Dude, there's a panel where he lifts up his arm, and I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, that I remember really liking that storyline when it the singles were coming out, and it does kind of, it's part of a bigger tapestry of Jason Aaron's ongoing run on Star Wars. So it's easy to say, like, if you enjoyed that storyline, then you might want to read the rest of Jason Aaron's ongoing run and enjoy it there. But one of my favorite things about that story was seeing not only Gracchus the Hut and fucking Swola the Hut, but having different characters like Dengar appear, and just seeing some of those characters from the existing Star Wars movie universe appear in these comics. I thought that was a pretty neat addition in there. But I forgot to say the artwork on that, the Mark Brooks artwork on that Han Solo mini is fantastic, like regardless of the story. And I don't think the story was bad. I want to say that, like, I just feel there was too much going on, but I know, like, when I was rereading it in the first chapter, I was like, man, this is really cool. Like, I was like, I remember why I like this so much, because you jump in with the ships, like Jess was saying, like everyone getting shot at, and I was like, this is badass. And then it's like when the little other pieces of their mission start pulling through, and then I was like, I'd sit there every time something happened, when they like find a character, they find someone they're looking for, I was like, wait, what? Wait, why? Huh? What? And I was like, just get back to more of the, you know, racing and shooting people and killing people in space. Like that was cool. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's good parts to that Marjorie Liu story. It felt very Silver Age to me, where there's a lot of exposition, a lot of talking. Like almost every panel had a word balloon. And what I really liked about it, what really made it feel like a Silver Age book to me, was every issue had a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that a lot anymore these days. And then like the very last little panel of the entire storyline, with, you know, Princess Leia and Han like not holding hands but kind of touching each other's pinky, was really cute. I thought that was kind of a good way to end the whole story.
Yeah, it gives you that kind of little hint at seeing their relationship developing.
And I will say, I'm coming at it from the perspective of somebody who's more of a casual Star Wars fan. Like, I liked Last Jedi, and I like the new films that are coming out. So, you know, take that for what you will, but I'm not a diehard Star Wars guy, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I am a diehard Star Wars guy and a Star Trek guy, so I dug this book, and it makes me realize that I think I do have, over in the Star Wars corner, I think I do have the Jason Aaron series, so maybe that'll help inform this part of the Han Solo book, where he apparently has a wife, a little bit better. So I'll give that a shot. The Star Wars books, since I love Jason Aaron, and the artwork by Immonen is really good. In that arc, where you're talking about Gracchus being swole. There he is right there. He's got all muscular arms and such. So what book would you like to talk about next in this fabulous book review episode of OmniBros Live?
Okay. I picked last time, so I'll let somebody else pick.
I say Agents of Atlas because I still have a small chunk of Milk and Cheese that I haven't read. Like one of the chapters, basically, it's separated into 7 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
One of those chapters I have not read. Not the last one. I is the longest one, chapter 5, where it covers like 15 years worth of stories.
I'm happy to start with Agents of Atlas, because this was my favorite of the 3, and it's probably not a surprise to anybody, because it's like a Silver Age book. It's like Silver Age characters with a modern sensibility. You have, as you can see on the cover, on the Agents of Atlas consist of Jimmy Woo, an Asian American. Then you've got, who's this? Venus, the goddess. M11, the robot. Gorilla Man. Marvel Boy, and Namora, and they're fighting this. In the very beginning, they're fighting this really racist caricature called the Yellow Claw.
Golden. Well, he prefers to be named Golden Claw later on.
They changed it to Golden Claw, right?
Yeah.
They started out, and he looks like Fu Manchu,
Yeah.
and they call him the Yellow Claw. But I love the fact that it was like a Doom Patrol-y team, but written in a modern way. Their adventures, I thought, were amazing. They had out of this world equipment. They got a talking gorilla, which is always good. They've got a goddess of love that's scantily clad and can basically control people by singing her love songs. There's a great twist that happens right in the beginning of the book that I never saw coming, that really sharpens it up and makes it sparkle to me, that twist regarding the Agents of Atlas. So I just thought this was, I just had a blast reading this. This is one of those sort of fun, frothy, not lightweight, but it's just a fun, frothy summer read where you've got a goofy team getting in goofy situations, but you're taking it seriously because there's plenty of death, and you're invested in these characters because you dig them. You get into their backstory a little bit as a team, and there's several stories that are told. Plus, there's these interstitials that are important to read. This looks like a lot, but it's written really well, and you can buzz right through it. I read this mostly in the doctor's office, waiting the mandatory half hour after my allergy shots that I get twice a week. So it only took me about an hour and a half to read it. There's crossovers with X-Men and Spider-Man, and Secret Invasion that's really good. So I just, this is my kind of book because the team concept, fun team members that I dug, interesting situations where involving, space-time warps and crazed robots that you never know what they're doing, and like a time loop that exists, and I don't know. It was just a blast, I thought. I just enjoyed the heck out of it. I highly recommend this book. That's me.
Good choice. Good choice. Okay. This was the least of my favorite. the complete polar opposite.
Opinions I hate.
I know.
Oh, we're going back to that episode.
In all fairness, I didn't hate it. This was just the least of the ones that I enjoyed of the 3. And the other 2 were really good reads. This, to me, the first 6 issues of this were a slog, at least for me. It felt like the first 6 issues there really wasn't much going on except they was setting up all the characters and introducing you to all the characters and stuff like that, and that's perfectly fine. The problem is, for me at least, it didn't move at a pace that I enjoyed, or it didn't move at a pace that was fast enough for me. I will say that I did enjoy the twist that they throw at you at the end. I thought, okay, that's really cool. The situation that they involve Jimmy Woo in, and the revelation of what actually is going on, and things like that. I thought that was strong enough that it actually propelled me to keep reading the book. But had I just read the first 5 issues of this, and had I not, because my general rule is I will give any comic, almost any comic, the first 3 to 4 issues to really grab me. If by 3 or 4 issues it doesn't really grab me, I typically tend to drop it. And this probably would have been a book that I would have dropped had I not had to actually review it, which is actually a good thing as well. Overall, I dug this. I dug the aesthetic of it. I like the fact that it was kind of like an alternate Marvel version of kind of Doom Patrol. I like the characters once that they got established. My favorite being the ape. I thought his backstory was really cool, involving the magic and all that other stuff. But I thought it was fun. It was fun. Just it wasn't really my cup of tea. I like how the alien he eats with his esophagus coming out onto the plate. I was kind of creeped out by that as well. I was like, ugh, that's kind of nasty. But really, yeah, this would be. I mean, I guess if I were to keep it on my rating scale, this would probably just be a borrow. It's not really for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we keep it real here on OmniBros. We don't suck up to anybody. We say what our opinions are. We read these books. So who's up next? Who read this book and has an opinion?
I can talk. So I felt overall positive about this book. I've been looking forward to reading this. I suggested this one for us because number one, I wanted to read it. Number two, Jess had just read Jeff Parker's Red Hulk stuff, and so I was like, oh, we should do more Jeff Parker. And this is one of the Jeff Parker books that I haven't read, especially from his Marvel stuff. I've read Red Hulk, I've read his Thunderbolts, I've also read from DC his Future Quest and Future Quest Presents, and I've read his Aquaman. But Agents of Atlas had always been something I hadn't looked at, and I've wanted to for a while because it's a cool concept for a team. You know, as Jess went over, it's the team of characters from, you know, the 50s and whatnot, and we're seeing them brought back together in this new team. The first miniseries that it starts with, the 6-issue miniseries, I had somewhat similar feelings as Luis. It wasn't so much of a slog for me to get through. I did read the miniseries in probably about 30 minutes, but it wasn't quite as interesting as I had hoped it was going to be. It was fun to get introduced to these characters, but it didn't do much. Like it was just like, here they are. It's a team that existed. They're back. Boom. And it wasn't until the only really great scene for me in that entire miniseries is the conclusion. And not because I was like, oh, it's over, but because it was a cool twist in the last issue, like having what the characters do. And that sets it up for the rest of their series. The rest of the book, though, I just felt it got better and better and better. And at first, I thought that one of the things I was going to like about this book was how the characters are kind of separate from the Marvel Universe, especially in that first miniseries. And then it started, you know, I started thinking what I'm really enjoying is seeing how they become integrated into the Marvel Universe. And seeing, you know, after that first miniseries, the interactions with the X-Men, the interactions with Spider-Man. In the Spider-Man issue, you know, a little spoiler for that little one-shot story, like Spider-Man kind of more or less teams up with them, and then they wipe his mind at the end. So he kind of but does not really remember what's going on. And I thought that was really funny. Like, they're like, yeah, no, keep quiet. We don't actually exist. Sorry. Peace out. And then they leave in the spaceship. And the last mini-series after the like Secret Invasion and Dark Reign short stories, they're fully integrated, like dealing with the events of the Dark Reign and stuff like that, with Norman Osborn taking over. And that last like 5 issues that are in here was really where I was like, damn, this is really cool. And it had little flashbacks throughout it, where it was showing like not only what's happening now, but what happened in the past. And I thought that was a lot cooler than seeing, you know, their mission in the first storyline. Also, I really liked the artwork in the second one. Not that I'm not a fan of Leonard Kirk, but the second story had much better artwork. But I'll say my biggest disappointment wound up being just that it ends on a cliffhanger, and we don't have the second volume is not solicited yet. I mean, I know I can go out and get the old paperbacks, but I'd rather, I guess, just wait, because you know that they're going to do a second one. It's just a matter of time, but it's just annoying because now I have to wait for that second volume to come out. I will admit I did not read the classic reprints at the back. I don't know if anyone else did, but I knew it was going to be a little hard for me to get through all of these. I'm not that big of a fan of these classic storylines, especially in, like, pre-Marvel Marvel is not really my bag. But it does give kind of a fun sneak into what's to come, because it has an issue of the Avengers where 3D Man is part of the crew, and he winds up joining the Agents of Atlas in what will be in this second volume. But I think my favorite was also Gorilla Man, similar to Luis. I thought he was super fun, and I really want to get his miniseries that Jeff Parker wrote.
Oh, he's got a miniseries? Gorilla Man does?
Yeah, it's a 3-issue miniseries with Jeff Parker writing. I don't remember who's on the artwork, but there was a miniseries for Gorilla Man and there's one for Marvel Boy. But I think they're the only two that had solo minis. But I overall really enjoyed this. After getting through the first miniseries, the rest of it I was like, damn, this was really fun. And I read it really fast. Similar to Jess, you know, it probably took me about an hour and a half to get through it once I got the ball rolling. So I will say I recommend it. If you're a fan of characters like that, you know, throwback characters, modernizations of those types of characters, then I would recommend that. And I would also recommend checking out Future Quest, because it's kind of the same deal, throwback Hanna-Barbera heroes thrown into a team book.
Are those Marvel Boy and Gorilla Man collected in trades, or are they only available in single issues?
They are in trades. I did my due diligence and found out that they are. I'm hesitant to track them down. They're not expensive or anything, but I'm hesitant to spend money on them because I don't know if they're going to collect those two minis in the second complete collection. So I'm waiting to find out.
Good point. Okay.
I didn't get a chance to read Agents of Atlas, but I really am interested in that after hearing you guys talk about it, especially since they decided to include all the Silver Age stuff in there too. That's a really cool bonus.
Apparently all that is actually collected in the first hardcover collection of the Agent storyline, so it's in there for anyone who doesn't want to buy the complete collection. I don't know if that hardcover is cheaper or anything.
That's a good point to hold off on Marvel Boy and Gorilla Man, because I was thinking that I want to go right out and get them. I also am frustrated that this thing ended on a cliffhanger and the second volume hasn't been solicited yet. It's a nice, thick, chunky paperback, which is how we like our paperbacks, I think.
Our women.
Yes, sir. I'm honestly kind of surprised that they even collected this. I mean, Jeff Parker is not exactly. I mean, he's pretty well known in the comic book community, but he's not really a household name in Agents of Atlas. Like when I first got this in the mail, I looked at it because I'd never heard of Agents of Atlas, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, dude, Agents of Atlas is like more known than it's probably less known than the Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
that's why it would fall in the hierarchy of things.
Which I can talk a lot about Thunderbolts, and I'm surprised that we haven't seen more Thunderbolt stuff come out.
I love Thunderbolts so much, Riley. God, we should do a read through or do something.
First of all, we need to get Marvel to publish those last few, like 25 issues that are not collected in some format. Just fucking do it. And then we should get every single book and read every single Thunderbolt story from issue number 1 all the way through all of the Red Thunderbolts and all of the fucking Jim Zub Thunderbolts.
Yeah, when they go into the past and stuff. Yeah. Or
Let's
the
do it.
Luke Cage Thunderbolts is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
as well. That was a
that's the
great
Jeff
series.
Parker. That's
Yeah.
what Jeff Parker wrote, and that was a fucking amazing run.
That's what made me like Jeff Parker. That's when I started looking at like his Hercules run. That's what kind of makes me want to check out Agents of Atlas and everything else like that. Like I love his work.
Okay, that leaves the oddball of the group, Milk and Cheese by Evan Dorkin. I remember this book in the 90s used to come out like once a year. It's hard to even explain what Milk and Cheese is about, except it's about a carton of milk and a slab of cheese that are alive and alcoholic and destructive.
And they hate everything, kind of like us last week.
Right. They hate everything, and they make no bones about it, about how they hate everything. It's just it's Evan Dorkin just venting on everything. So who would like to? I agree with what Luis said. I don't know if he said it on the air or if he said it in our pre-chat, but it's hard to read a ton of milk cheese. Milk and cheese sort of best served up in bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to just sit there and binge on it. So I won't give my review right now, but I will gladly listen to somebody else's.
Well, I mentioned that I didn't get through all of it just yet. I got to read the majority of the book, and I had the same feeling that you just said. Like, it's not something that you binge. It's not something that you go through, especially because, like, if you're trying to binge through it, I feel like you wind up going a little quicker than you would if you're just taking it one strip at a time. And if you take it one strip at a time, you get to really let the punchlines and the jokes sit in or sink in with you. And for me, like, sitting there trying to binge it, and because just like I was in high school and college, like, I procrastinate on everything, and I was sitting there last night like, fuck, I need to read this. Even though I had it for like 2 weeks sitting on my desk, I was like, I'm just gonna read like a couple strips a day, and that should have been what I did, but I didn't, and I fucked myself over for it. But there were still like several of the strips that I did really, really like, and I was enjoying myself and laughing about it, and just the like sense of hatred and vitriol through every single one of these strips, and my like constant thinking of like, damn, is Dorkin really like that filled with hate about everything in the world? And there's a couple parts where it says like this, like, opinions in this do not reflect the opinions of the creator, and I'm like, okay, but I don't know how true that is. But it was really, a lot of the points were really extremely enjoyable, just like kind of like, whoa, taken aback by how extreme the stuff was. But in general, and the reason that I really wanted us to talk about this and recommended this is because it's Dorkin who did Eltingville Club, that, you know, was one of the books that I talked about way back in one of our earlier episodes, and, you know, we enjoyed the shit out of that book. And so I was like, yeah, let's do more Evan Dorkin. Let's do it. Let's get Milk and Cheese. Let's talk about it. And it wasn't as good as, in my opinion, as Eltingville Club, because Eltingville Club, I was able to sit there and binge through it. And I think that a lot of that reason was because I found myself relating to, or at least understanding, the circumstances and the things that were happening in the Eltingville Club strips, because you're like, it's about people like us, like nerds, except like the worst of the worst, and the aspects of being a geek of any kind, you know, comics, movies, cartoons, whatever, and the shitty things that we do and the shitty you know, attitudes that we can have. And it was just this funny kind of you know, self-deprecating humor for, you know, people like us. And Milk and Cheese is not so much self-deprecating. I mean, there's a couple of strips about comics and about comic collectors and cons and stuff. You know, they're like, oh, this must be why they call it a con, because everything's so fucking expensive. But the strips that were like, it was more outward hatred of like, you know, I fucking hate all these fucking, you know, kids that are wearing the hippie clothes that they made fun of their parents for wearing in the 70s. And like these fucking people with all their dumb like face piercings, and then they start shoving different things in people's faces. And then the people are like, oh man, this is super cool. And they're like, fuck, it backfired. Like those strips were like, I don't relate to it, but they're still hilarious. And I also really liked I read this one while I was eating my lunch today, where they take on comedians and they're just going after every type of comedian. It's like, you know, the stand-up comic and the prop comic and the impersonator, and just like tearing them apart. And at the end, it's this big thing, and they're like, if you find any of these things funny, then like there's something wrong with you. And like, it's a bunch of like popular, you know, funny people or funny movies or shows. Like SNL is in there, and In Living Color was on there. And then in the corner, it's like Milk and Cheese, Evan Dorkin. And I'm like, you know, he's taking the piss out of himself. But in general, I can't give 100% review just because I haven't read that chunk of material in here. But I'm definitely gonna sit down and get that done probably tonight. But from what I have read, there are some really high highs, as you can probably tell by my reaction. And then there's a lot of parts where I'm like, kind of, you know, pushing myself to finish the strip, because I'm like, okay, this topic is not that funny to me. And I'm just pushing myself through to finish the strip. And then if I sat down and I was, you know, like, this is a toilet book for me. Like, that's the type of book that you take to the bathroom, you have sitting above the toilet, you read one strip at a time while you drop a deuce, and then, you know, you come back, you know, and read a strip or two at a time, and that's how it should be taken. Like, so that the fact that I didn't take it in that way, and I know Jess said it's not meant to be binged, that affected my thoughts on it. But the high highs, and if you're a fan of Evan Dorkin, I would definitely recommend getting this and having it in your collection. And it's, you know, it's a $20 book, so the cover price is not outstanding or anything. Like, it's not something that's going to break the bank if this is the type of, you know, social commentary, you know, putrid, hate-filled humor that you really need in your life.
I dug this. I dug Milk and Cheese for the most part. I will say that I think some of the jokes came off as a bit dated, mostly because he makes some references and things like that. And this was first published like in 1989. Yeah. He makes references to like Days of Our Lives and things like that. And I'm like, I've never seen Days of Our Lives. So I do think it's pretty interesting seeing that Dorkin's style starts off really sketchy and really kind of punk and really like very indie. And while he does maintain that overall, you do see the evolution progressing throughout the years as he does get better and he does introduce more things. I will say that I think this reads better in smaller chunks, because I had kind of the same issue where I was binging a lot of this. I was really, really trying to binge a lot of this to get it done by review time. And there was a stretch where I was just like, I'm getting kind of tired of this. I need to kind of take a break. It's very cynical, and it's very, I wouldn't say necessarily depressing, but it's very much a lot of, I think you said this, a lot of kind of negativity in it, and I just wasn't really down for that at that time, or where I was. But overall, I mean, it's funny, it's got its moments, and I do like the overall aesthetic of it. He introduces color more towards the end of the book, and that was fine. Wasn't really anything big. But I did find it kind of funny that on the back it says something about involving a hardcover, a cartoon of hate where the winning diary do returns to in this deluxe hardcover, collecting every stupid milk and cheese comic ever. So I guess originally this was supposed to be a deluxe edition or a hardcover collection or something like that. And maybe at the last minute they were like, yeah, let's just put this in trade paperback. So, but this was my middle pick of all three that we read. If you're looking for something that's kind of a small read that you could, yeah, I'm kind of bored. Yeah, I'll read a couple of chapters of Milk and Cheese. This is really a good pickup. Just like I said, don't recommend you binge on this because you'll probably get tired of it quick.
It was, I think it was originally a hardcover that was published, and then because if you look on Amazon, you can buy a hardcover of Milk and Cheese, and then they released the paperback later, but instead of editing the blurb on the back, they just kept it with the same hardcover blurb on there. So that's actually just an error on Dark Horse's part for not fixing their shit.
And Gabe, did you read Milk and Cheese?
A little bit of it, and I agree with everybody else. It's like what Riley was saying. We're on the same page. It's fun to read, like a couple strips at a time. Let it go. It's a good filler in between, like, you know, because sometimes people like me and Jess, I know we read like 2 or 3 books at a time and go back and forth, back and forth. It's a good kind of like palette cleanser between different stories. So I liked it a lot. I like how it's very Howard the Duck-esque, where back in the day, Howard the Duck with Marvel was kind of the meta commentary of the comic book industry. And I like to see Milk and Cheese take that over. I like a lot of social commentary about comic books in comics. You know, the Tick did it. Harvey Picard did that a lot with American Splendor, things like that. And Milk and Cheese kind of follows in that same pattern. I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely it has that. I mean, just from like the first page alone, you get this feel of something like a Harvey Picard comic where it's independent. This is self-published. This is his own thing. And I don't necessarily know, like, was this on comic racks at the time? Was it in newspapers? I'm not exactly sure where this showed up. Was it in magazines at the time this was first published?
You picked it up as singles. It was Milk and Cheese was its own book.
There's in the back you can see the comic book covers. There was like 7 issues or something.
Yeah. Just looking at this makes me crack up. Yeah, it was this and Dork, and I think Dork is what had Eltingville and Murder Family. If I recall correctly, I bought all of Dork's stuff, but I think Milk and Cheese had its own comic book, and I think Eltingville and like Murder Family were in Dork, but Eltingville spun out and got its own hardcover. I also worship that book, Eltingville. I just love that book.
God, that one was not a disappointment at all when I picked that up. I'm so happy with that book. I know Dork has a collection coming out next month. So if we need some more Dorkin to go through, we can dork it up next month.
I'm good with the Dork for right now. That was enough for me. Or maybe
I think that I'll probably not suggest it as a actual review book, so that I don't have to feel rushed to read it and just do what I said I wanted to do and have it as my toilet book.
I did like how on several occasions they introduced themselves. We are Milk and Cheese, and like they spat in the person's face or something.
There's always like a rhyme that they throw out there when they introduce themselves.
Yeah, it was like, we are Milk and Cheese and we're the fleet. Yeah, that got me.
Yeah, in small doses, this is a great book.
Has anyone read their Dorkin's Bill and Ted?
I have not.
He did a Bill and Ted book? That's awesome.
Yeah, because I really want to get it, but I don't know like if it's worth me dropping the $25 on it I was hoping someone would have read it and give some sort of idea.
So,
I guess not crickets.
Yeah, man. Sorry. Yeah.
Nothing, man. You're on your own.
Didn't read it.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm looking at images right now, and it's very much Dorkin. But yeah, it was like an old Marvel Bill and Ted series, and then some other stuff. And they released a hardcover of it not too long ago.
I'm gonna track that down, dude. I thought you were talking about like the new IDW stuff. I didn't know it was the older stuff.
No. This is old stuff, man. This is from when the old movies were coming out.
The old movies. The old movies, Riley.
Well, because they're doing a new one, which is going to be weird.
It's like that part. It's like Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War where Spider-Man. Like, you ever see that old movie Aliens?
I mean, I was saying old is in comparison to when they release a new movie.
The first movies, yeah, I know.
Yeah, the original, the Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey. Yeah, because they did the Most Triumphant Return comic somewhat recently. Who fucking wrote that? I'm trying to find out because it wasn't Dorkin. Brian Lynch. I'm not familiar.
All right, but I gotta get out of here because I'm grabbing dinner with the wifey. Going to sushi.
All you can eat sushi.
Hell yeah! So, wishing everybody a good night. This was fun. Like I said, pick up some milk and cheese. Pick up some Han Solo. Maybe pick up Atlas, on my opinion. I don't know. But thanks for checking me out, guys. Comics Guide 101 is where you can find me. Have a good night. Bye.
Thanks, dude. Peace and
Peace
love.
out.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good night.
He's going for all you can eat sushi.
I haven't had dinner yet. I'm starving. Then I don't know what we're eating tonight. My wife told me that she was gonna switch like the diet that we've been on, and I'm like, God damn it! I just got used to this.
So rare Monday night appearance for Riley.
Yeah, which means I might not be on for a Thursday. That's the caveat, because my wife is like, we need to spend time together. But
yeah, what is it with wives that want to spend so much time with us?
I don't know. It's like they like us or something. But there's
like Father's Day is coming up or something.
Y'all are gonna benefit from that. I'm still sitting here childless.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna take advantage of Father's Day. I've already ordered my gifts.
But look what the stork dropped off for me today. I haven't even opened it.
What is it?
Is that your IST box?
Yeah, this is the majority of my June haul.
Oh, sweet. Are you going to do a live opening or what?
Live openings are lame.
Okay.
They are? I thought they were supposed to be fun.
I'm just saying, if this is the group, everybody be posting the pictures of anal bleach packets.
Yeah, what's in the box? Anal bleach, dicks.
Yeah, I got my package today too.
I wasn't expecting it until tomorrow, so I was pretty excited. I also got that pool that we were setting up outside because it's freaking hot because it's Texas, and we don't like going to neighborhood pools because I'm antisocial. And I was like, yeah, let's just buy a pool on Amazon, and we did.
How big is it? Like how wide?
It's 12 foot in diameter, and it's like 2.5 feet tall. So it's big enough to chill in.
Yeah, chilling out.
Which is really all we were wanting, is something to like chill out in. So it's perfect for that. We just have
all that pool really is, Riley, is an outdoor bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it has a filter. Like, it has a little filter attached to it, so if I pee, it'll just filter the pee.
Just throw those little like pills or capsules in the pool. That when you pee, it changes the water a different color, and then try to write your name in the water.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Have some fun with that.
Now, did y'all? Jess said his package arrived. Did Gabe? Did you haul?
Yeah, I hauled a bunch of stuff. I didn't know we were doing a haul. I have it in the other room. I can go grab it. I got some of it here. But book wise, I got it. Give me a second.
My box is out there if you want me to go grab it.
Because the chat seems to like the idea of us doing hauls right now.
Well, I'm unbagging everything because I don't want to. I'm just like making conversation while I get everything unpacked because I've never understood the fascination with seeing someone open a box. Like, I've opened 50 boxes in the past week. I don't need to watch someone else. I don't know. But I guess because there's comics in the box and that makes it cool.
Yeah, we'll do it. I'll grab my stuff then.
All right, I'll go grab it too.
Then I'll start talking.
Go for it, dude.
So I like to start small to large, so I'll go ahead and get my smallest books out real quick. Now, typically I'm not on the show on Mondays, so I decided that on my channel I'd start doing hauls myself. And it's really easy to do those videos. I mentioned that on Thursday. I mentioned that on the haul video. They're really easy to make. It takes no effort from me. I'm really just pulling books out and saying, you know, I've read this and it's good, or I haven't read this and I'm excited to read it because XYZ reasons. So this is kind of like a spoiler for what I would post at the end of the month, but I'll try to go into more detail, or I'll probably have read some of these books by that time. But anyway, starting small and going large, 3 new volumes of manga. Promised Neverland Volume 4 came out, as well as the 13th volume of My Hero Academia, and then the 3rd volume of Battle Angel Alita Mars Chronicle, the prequel series to the original Battle Angel. So I'll be reading these 2 pretty soon. Just to stay caught up with everything. Neither of them are going to take me that long to read, so not a big deal. I haven't started reading the Alita Mars Chronicle stuff just yet. I haven't read the hardcovers yet. I'm debating if I want to read those hardcovers of the original series now or wait until they're complete. And then I'd probably jump into this after that, after I'm kind of introduced to the characters. I know My Hero Academia is like everyone's shit right now. Like, everyone loves that series, and there's good reason. It's a very, very good series. Not as many people, a lot of people do, but not as many people are talking about Promised Neverland. So this one has been a really fun title. It's got kind of that the same sensibility as a series like Death Note, where there's a lot of narration and a lot of like just the characters. I don't know. It's like this kind of thriller almost, where it's like what's going to happen and then their thoughts and their processes on what they're thinking and what they want to do and stuff like that. So it's really interesting series. I've really enjoyed it so far. I also got volume 15 of Shaman King random volume, but for some reason this is the only volume that was expensive anywhere, and IST still had it, so I ordered it just to be safe. Because I have the majority of Shaman King. I've already read the whole series. I love the series. But I have the majority of it already. And what's up? Not right now, but we'll be done soon. Oh, you want me to just drink it? Okay. I'll be out soon. Those wives wanting to spend time with us. But yeah, so I've already read the series. I love it, and I decided I needed to have it physically because I've only read it either online, not quite legally, back when they didn't publish all of it in the US, and I've read it in Shonen Jump magazine. And then the next book I've got is the second hardcover of Tom King's Batman. I sold most of my Rebirth hardcovers just because I was like, I'm not going to revisit these, but there's a twofold reason why I kept this and Detective. Number one, obviously there's I collect more Batman than anything else from DC, and so I kind of felt like I needed to have this. Number two, Tom King's Batman is probably almost definitely my favorite of DC's Rebirth titles. Stellar artwork throughout. I just love the way that he writes the character and the ongoing plot lines that he's got with him. Definitely a fantastic run. And then I got the three Omnis, or three of the Omni. I don't know if there was more, but I got the three books. The big ones from that week were the third and final volume of George Perez's run on Wonder Woman. This hardcover has 46 through 62 of Wonder Woman, plus bonus stories by Perez from 168 to 169 and 600. And then it also has the War of the Gods miniseries. Yeah, it has the War of the Gods miniseries in there. So this wraps up his run. I'm hoping for, I think it's Meisner Loebs followed this one, and I'm hoping that they release something for him as well. And then the two Marvel books, two that I've been really excited for. Number one, Runaways. Goddamn fantastic series. Brian K. Vaughan with Adrian Alfona and Takeshi Miyazawa. This collects all of Brian K. Vaughan's material on the Runaways. Great story, great characters. You can read it completely cold. You don't have to know anything because he creates these characters for this book. Fantastic. And if you, for some reason, have watched the Hulu series but never read the comics, then definitely pick up the comics. And then also the Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus with that very nice Fiona Staples artwork on the front. This collects everything Miles Morales from his introduction, so basically right after Death of Ultimate Spider-Man all the way through until Secret Wars, where Miles all of a sudden is part of the 616, or not 616, main Marvel universe post Secret Wars. So this is everything there. There is enough, I think, like 35 issues of material from Miles in the 616 or the non-616, whatever they want to call it nowadays. So they could potentially release another Miles omnibus, but if it has a volume 2 on it, because it's Bendis, it's not going to happen. And that's everything that I hope.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have an entire Ultimate Spider-Man run in omnibus form, but I don't think that's going to happen. Like you said, Bendis has really never had a volume 2 in omnibuses at all. So.
Except for Daredevil. That's
the only one. But they're both like super out of print for years too.
But aside from Daredevil, like Ultimate Spider-Man, New Avengers is Ultimate Spider-Man has the Death omnibus and this one, but there's that massive gap in between. Like most of the series is not collected, and then New Avengers has the Secret Invasion omnibus coming out, but there's a gap, and then there's more material afterwards. So it's not very much a volume 2. It's more like there's a middle volume missing that could collect more material. And then Powers came out, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Powers at this point is definitely not getting one, because now that all of the Icon stuff that Bendis had, all his creator-owned stuff, is over at Vertigo. So maybe if they re-release the first omnibus from Vertigo and then he does a second omnibus at Vertigo, maybe then. But at this point, the only way to get oversized Powers past the omnibus is the oversized hardcovers.
The definitive hardcovers, right?
Right. Which isn't a bad thing. They're nice-looking books.
I like them. I got like the first 3 or 4 of them.
It just sucks to be like, cool, we have this one, and Bendis was like, yeah, Volume 2 is going to happen. And then Volume 2 didn't happen, and now he moved over to DC. And it's not that Marvel, can't publish things by Bendis. It's just this was a creator-owned thing. So that now that they literally can't do that. At least the Brian Michael Bendis Crime Noir omnibus is an all-in-one.
Yeah, I have those in like different formats, in like the old Image like hardcovers.
Gabe, what did you haul?
All right, so let's take a look here. Let's start off with the fun stuff first. Kind of an early Father's Day gift from my family. Recently, Vans, if you guys know the shoe brand, Vans has teamed up with Marvel to do an entire apparel line. like shoes and shirts and backpacks and sweaters and hats and socks and like everything that you can wear. Vans is putting out with Marvel, and it's great. Hey, Papa. Hi. My kid just came in to visit me, and my dog. Hi, Andy. So, first off, is I got this great button-up or button-down collared shirt. Really cool, old school images of Marvel characters on here. I'm gonna open it up. Why is it still in the bag? Oh yeah, because I don't read my books. Still, I leave them still wrapped. So yeah, over a nice button-down shirt. Bunch of cool Marvel heads on there and stuff like that. I'm gonna start wearing more button-down shirts. I might just be going through an early midlife crisis. I'm gonna start dressing like Jess, but I think it's time for some button-down shirts in my life. So I got the shirt. I got a new pair of shoes.
Oh yeah,
shoes I've been wearing recently.
Did you get the ones that match the shirt?
No. Oh, well, kind of. I mean, I got these bad boys. These are sick. I got the Spider-Man slip-ons. So these are really cool. These I don't even really want to wear them. These things are just so cool. Like, they remind me kind of, if you guys remember the cover for Amazing Spider-Man 700, where it had all the different Spider-Man heads kind of collaged together. Looks like that. I don't want to wear these, but I needed new shoes.
Those are great looking.
Yeah, I can't wait to put those things on. And I got a video game. It's my first video game in a long, long time. Picked up Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 on the Switch. So I've been kind of staying away from video games for a while. I don't really get the time or the effort to really play games because I can't really concentrate on too much gameplay and make sure my kids don't put a fork into like an outlet or something. So, but something like the Switch, it's a console. You can play it on the TV. It's portable. You can take it with you. And Lego games are by far some of the best video games out there. I mean, whether you're a kid or a hardcore gamer or a casual gamer or whatever, I don't think you can find better games than Lego ones. These things are great. Can't wait to open that up. What else? Oh, I got there's a store out here in Vegas. It might be all over the country. But there's a store called Box Lunch. And it's almost like a Hot Topic, but a lot cleaner and nicer. And I got another button-down shirt. So it's really cool, nice store button-down shirt. Kind of make myself look a little nice here.
Wait, can you hold that up again? Let me isolate on you so they can get a look at it.
Oh yeah, it's a Thor shirt. It's fun. Has a bunch of like zap and smash and pure sound effects written on it. Thor's hammer. It's great. A fun little shirt for somebody who works in a comic book store.
Nice.
And for comic book wise, let's get to that. I got a bunch of Epic collections. I got the Volume 2 Epic collection for Incredible Hulk, which collects a bunch of Tales to Astonish issues. I love these Epic collections. I've been kind of transferring to these more and more lately since there's not a lot of omnibuses coming out. And there's a lot of stuff that... give me a second here. I got a meltdown going on.
See what you have to look forward to, Rye?
Yeah, it's gonna be great. No, I told I was talking to my mom the other day, and I was like, my birthday's coming up. You haven't asked me what I want. And she's like, yeah, just send me your list. Send me a list. And so usually I'll like be like, I want this book. And then my mom will be like, I'm not buying you comics, Riley. You're an adult. So I texted her, like the other day I was really bored at work. It was a slow day. And I texted her a bunch of screenshots of the Marvel shoes. And I was like, Mom, I want these for my birthday. I don't know which ones I like the best. Help me choose. And then she was like giving me the typical like doting mom response of like, anything for my baby boy. And I was like, yes. So hopefully Mom doesn't fail and I get some sweet Marvel kicks. I showed her I showed her 3 of them that I really dug. One of them looks like the shirt that you got just on shoes. And then the other 2, it was the Black Panther and the Deadpool ones.
Yeah, those are cool.
I thought those were pretty kicking. And she was like telling me, like, she's like, now these are high tops and they look good with pants. And I was like, Ma, I got high tops. I've been wearing Vans since I could like stand up. Like I've had plenty of high tops, Ma. Just a little cute story of my mom trying to look out for me.
Oh,
That's sweet.
oh, Riley's mom loves him.
Haha.
Yeah, okay, so sorry about that. So let me just continue on. So yeah, the Incredible Hulk Epic Collection Volume 2 with all the great Tales of Astonish issues. That's what I like about these Epic collections. It's all basically chronological. They seem to be collecting everything in a chronological format. So the first volume of the Hulk Epic Collection had 6 issues of Hulk, but it also had his appearances in in Fantastic Four and his appearances in other books as well. So it's really cool how they collect everything kind of in order. And then I got a couple Fantastic Four Epic collections as well. So Volume 1 and Volume 2, which collects the first 32 issues of Fantastic Four. It's more or less basically the first omnibus, which I have, but I'm kind of double dipping with these Epic collections. Mainly because these Epic collections, they have the same form, the same issues in here, of course. But in here, a lot of times they have a lot of extra stuff you don't get in some omnibuses, like original sketches. Sometimes there's like pinups and little joke advertisements in here and other things from that time frame in the comic book business that sometimes you don't get in omnibuses. I think this might be in the Fantastic Four omnibus, but that's what I like about these Epic collections. There's so much more extra material in these sometimes that you don't get in other places. So, and they're pretty cheap and affordable. I like that as well. And the big book I got this week, finally, this Kickstarter. Other people got it way before I did, but I finally got my Avatar Providence slipcase.
That's not the crossed.
I wish it was the cross. I asked them about that. But yeah, so this collects Neonomicon, and what is this? Act 1, 2, and 3, Providence, and another book in here called Deadly Beauty, which is Jason Barrow's like art sketchbook and stuff related to the series. So that's really cool. I can't wait to bust this out open as well and check it out. It's been a while since I read Neonomicon. I had the Courtyard, like single kind of issue trade paperback kind of thing, which is a good compilation for this, which I don't think is included in this book. I'm not positive. But I'll be able to bust both of that out together and check this out. Not bad. What about you, Jess? What do you got, bud?
Well, you PM'd me immediately on that shirt, and so I ordered it for myself for Father's Day. It hasn't come in yet, but I got the same Vans shirt that Gabe did. That'll be coming in for Father's Day, which is this Sunday. I also copied Gabe because he told me about the Providence box set, and he was furious that I got it before he did, since he's the one that came up with the idea. But I've read Neonomicon, but I haven't read any of the Providence books. And I'm looking forward to Dreadful Beauty. But yeah, I got this Kickstarter too. Let's see.
What I liked about that Kickstarter, real quick, Jess, is, man, they really packed that thing tight in that box. They did a great job packing. They're super late on shipments and everything like that, so a lot of people aren't getting it as quickly as they hoped, including myself. But they were taking the time to pack that. That box is just packed full of foam all around it. So like, that thing could probably fall off of a building and still be okay.
Yeah, and a really nice box too. A really hard cardboard box. I got Deadpool. I read Deadpool Back in Black, and I read some other Deadpool. I guess Deadpool Spider-Man, and it made me realize that I really like. Oh, I read Deadpool. What is it? Mercs for Money.
Mm-hmm.
I read a trade of that, and it made me realize that I had fallen behind in my Deadpool. So I got Deadpool World's Greatest 2, 3, and 4. I already own number 1, so I got these. I was way behind on my Deadpool.
Thought you were gonna say it made me realize I really fucking hate Deadpool.
No, I love Deadpool. I also got the Batman number 2, which has got the War of Jokes and Riddles, I think, which is supposed to be so awesome. I can't wait to. I mean, this is just a beautiful cover. I love the colors on it and everything. I just think this is great. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I'm going to have to go back and read number 1, which is not a tragedy. That's great. I'm looking for it. I'll go back and read number 1 and then read this. And because I like to copy people, I copied Riley. I got the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Gonna have to open this up and see what's going on with the binding. Got a lot of binding problem post today in the Omnibus group about this book. So I'm a little worried about it.
What book was that, Jess?
The Miles Morales.
Oh, really? People are talking about binding issues? I haven't seen that. That's crazy.
It's separating like as soon as you open it.
God damn it. That sucks.
Yeah. Also got the Wonder Woman Volume 3 by George Perez.
Mine's good.
You're checking it right now?
Yeah. Oh, there's a little bit of separation. Let's put some glue in there. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Then let's see. I also got Infamous Iron Man number 2. I have number 1, so I wanted to get this and read them both. I heard good things about this.
Yeah, I really want to read that book, man. I just love the idea of Iron Man being, or Dr. Doom being in an Iron Man suit kind of thing.
Yeah, right? I know.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I held out on this one for a long time just because it sounded disgusting. But then I read review after how it was so good. So that would be Snot Girl Volume 1.
Oh, yeah.
But it's Brian Lee O'Malley. I really dig his writing, so I'm hoping that it's not as disgusting as I think it is. And I also read about a great book from Black Man called Kim and Kim, so I picked that up. This is one that I'm really excited about. I don't know a thing about it other than it's got Gotham City Garage Girls in it, and I have a couple of the statues. And it's Jackson Lansing, the guy behind Joyride. I think that's who that is. That's great.
Should try to get him on the show.
Yeah.
So we can tell him to get a Joyride hardcover going. So are the Garage Girls, are those like the new Bombshells?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know a darn thing about it, but it's got these tattooed Supergirl and Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, Catwoman. These guys. Let's see. In the distant future, America has become a wasteland, all save one unexpected haven, the Garden, a forcibly domesticated utopia run by Governor Lex Luthor with the aid of his brutal enforcer, the Bat. Young Kara Gordon has no idea what lies outside the garden's borders, but she's about to find out. So this is reimagined as bikers in the Gotham City Garage, based on the stunning line of DC collectibles statues, which I have 2 of, and 1 is on the way of Supergirl. So yeah, I dug the statues, and Jackson Lansing is a great writer, so I'm really up for this. Then this will make Gio happy. I got Black Bolt number 2. I loved Black Bolt number 1. I can't remember. Was that a recommendation?
I know I talked about how fucking good it was. I don't know if it was an official recommendation of mine, but it's a really damn good book.
I also got season 3 of Kaiju Max. A great book. I love this.
I still need
book.
to get the second one. I read the first one not too long ago, like a couple weeks ago, and thought it was great.
I read a good review online about this book. It's from Image, and it's called Number One with a Bullet. I want to read this right away. This looks good. Nash Huang is at the top of her game, but when the Irish shutter contact lens hits the market, Nash's personal life is invaded. The latest leap forward in technological progress, these contacts not only play video or augment reality, they record footage. Fighting to keep her life together after a sex tape goes viral, a clingy superfan is the last thing on Nash's mind. But then the bodies start to pile up and the terror begins. So this sounded good. Got a good review. And then my personal favorite that I got in hardcover, I gave Fangirl the trades, and that is Insects.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, from Aftershock. Gosh, I love this book. And so I was really happy to get it in oversized hardcover. Two women that turn into insects and devour men pushing them around. It's really cool. I dig it. I love this book, and I'm really excited to have it. And whoops, I can't show you that. Let's see.
Emily's mom's in the chat again.
I know. Believe me, I'm going to be paying attention. The artwork is gorgeous. It's by Marguerite Bennett. She's a great writer, and so I'm digging Insects. And then, if you can see behind me, I did haul a new Bombshell. That would be in the middle up there, Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern. Let's see if I can get a little closer here. Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern right there in the middle. I also hauled that. And that was my haul.
Nice. All right. So speaking of hauls, does anybody want to check out what's coming out this week to kind of get an idea of what we're buying this week?
Sure.
All right.
I can do that. Let me see if I can do that.
Oh.
Or do you want to do it?
I'll do it. Let me do it real quick.
Okay.
I kind of already set up with it. So let's see. All right, everybody, let's take a look at what's coming out this week to your local IST retailer. So let's see here. Starting off with Image. I'm surprised at this one, actually. Beauty Trade Paperback Volume 4. I had no idea that Beauty was really still a book that was still coming out. I'm glad to see it at it's Volume 4. It's a really cool concept where there's a sexually transmitted disease that doesn't give you like warts on your dick or make you like pee blood or any of the fun side effects like that. This STD actually makes you beautiful. So it's just kind of different take on what people will go through to make themselves their ideal version of themselves. But then this disease also kills you at one point. So kind of an interesting take on that book. Dark Horse, really nothing coming out here unless you like all ages books like Incredibles 2 or Plants vs. Zombies. Same with IDW. I mean, unless you like My Little Pony. If you do, you do. Cool. So this week out of DC, though, we finally have a what some would consider a day one buy, an A+, hugely popular and wanted reprint, which is this Infinity Crisis Omnibus.
And let me see. That is going to be 50% off on IST.
Yeah, 50% off, which is a great deal for a $150 omnibus. You get it for $75. That's pretty cool. And that would give you free shipping as well if you're in the United States.
Yeah.
Also coming out from DC, you got Young Animal Milk Wars.
I want to get that.
Are you? Okay.
I do, yeah.
Elseworlds Batman trade paperback. Flash from Rebirth Volume 6 trade paperback. This has been such a good series. I can't wait for all of it to be collected in hardcovers. The New Superman. I think, Jess, you've been reading this book, right? New Superman?
Yeah, from China. Yeah, he's great. Yeah. That's a really good book.
Yeah, I think they changed the name of the book to Superman from China. or something like that. After, I think they took away the new Superman title and just called it Superman of China.
Okay.
The DC Hanna-Barbera kind of reimagining continues with Rough and Ready show.
Rough and ready, always rough and ready. They're tough but steady, always rough and ready. See, I watched that cartoon.
Those lyrics mean a lot different today.
That's all I remember.
Sweet Tooth trade paperback volume 2. Is this like an oversized trade paperback, or is this like a normal sized trade? Because I know I didn't know volume 2 was just coming out. I swore volume 2 was already out for this, but I guess I was wrong. But Sweet Tooth is great. I love that book. There's a hardcover version out there. It's like 3 or 4 hardcovers. And I think they're reprinting all of those in trades. That's what that is. And Wonder Woman versus Conan hardcover.
Yeah, what's that about? I don't know a thing about that.
All I care about was the covers by Derek Robertson. I love the way he draws Conan. He looks like a total badass.
Who? Oh, it's Gail Simone wrote this?
Yeah, Gail Simone wrote it. Yeah, and Aaron Lepresti did the art. So it's really good. Yeah.
Okay.
And what else has we got going on here? Marvel's got, let's see, nothing that really stands out, but I know people will be interested in, I believe this would be the final hardcover for Jason Aaron's Thor run. So we got Mighty Thor Premium Hardcover Volume 5. The Thor Epic Collection World Engine. That's the Warren Ellis written stuff there with Mike Deodato. Ms. Marvel Volume 4.
Ooh, I'm going to get that.
A couple Marvel Masterworks Ant-Man series here. Or you got the one cover, and then you got like the direct market cover. Invincible Iron Man. This Astonishing Ant-Man collection. I love this. This is Nick Spencer as well, who is recently taking over at the Fantastic Four and who wrote Superior Foes of Spider-Man. This is a really good series. I like this a lot. A lot of good dad and daughter moments with Ant-Man and Cassie. So if you're interested in movies, Ant-Man, but you haven't read much of Ant-Man itself, I think this is a good kind of starting point for people. And everything else. There's not much else here. Grass Kings by Boom. And then here's all the weird manga stuff for everybody else on the panel but myself.
Not me.
Not you. Yeah, that's right. Just has good taste. Just teasing. Oh, there is a Quantum and Woody Deluxe hardcover Volume 2 from Valiant. So that's a good one there.
I think Baby Teeth Volume 2 is coming out too, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. From Aftershock.
Right. That's something I want to pick up. I haven't read the first one, and I need to get Beauty 3 and 4. I just have 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's a fun series. I was looking at it. I was reading in singles for a little bit. All right, and that is that.
Nice. So now you know.
Boom. All right.
Okay. Nice job.
So what's next? We want to just do some Q&A, or where'd Riley go? Did he take off?
I think what all is 50% off? Tyler Trent wants to know what's 50% off. Let's see. I can tell you real
there's
quick.
A lot. Let me do this. Let me screen share. I'll screen share the document real fast.
Oh, okay.
So here is the spreadsheet of what's coming out this week through IST and their pricing. So everything 50% off. Let me see if I can filter this somehow. Will this work? All right. So everything 50% off. Not much, but you get Infinity Crisis Omnibus, Wonder Woman Conan hardcover, Slots trade paperback, and those 2 Marvel Masterworks Ant-Man books there. That's your 50% off mark.
Okay.
And I hope that answers their question. No more screen sharing. There you go. Thank you. Boom.
Chase Chu, have you read Grass Kings? Is it good? It's the Jeff Lemire book, right? Or is that Matt Kent?
That's Matt Kent.
Matt Kent, okay. Avatar, they send it, In Stock Trade sends it to us.
Oh, you beat me to it. There you go. Yeah, we get the spreadsheet from Cameron and them.
So we can present them to you and keep you in the loop. Grass Kings is good. Maybe another budget busting week.
What are you picking up, Jess? I didn't hear you say anything on the way through it.
Well, I've already got Infinite Crisis. I think I'm probably just going to get some trades and stuff. Baby Teeth I want to get. Young Animal Milk Wars I want to get.
Oh, yeah, you said Ms. Marvel as well.
Ms. Marvel, yeah. There's also Volume 4 Lady Mechanica, so I'm considering getting that, even though it looks like he's releasing everything in hardcover. So I'm wondering if I should get that or not. I might want to just wait and see if he releases it in hardcover. Quantum and Woody, that's good. Rumble Volume 4, I know Gio and I want to get that.
I've never read Rumble before.
I haven't read it yet either.
Oh, no.
But I've heard great things about it. So I've got the first 3, so I might as well get number 4 and then read it. Infinite Crisis does have the crossovers. Oh, Trigonosis, right. I'll be getting Sidekick. Oh gosh, what are the other books? I don't know if Heathen, it looked like Heathen was a Kickstarter, so I may not be able to get that. But I know I need to get Sidekick. And I have a list somewhere around here of the other ones. Completely off topic, but the movie Hereditary is absolutely horrifying. You guys need to see it in the theater. Ooh, okay, good.
That sounds good. I want to see some more movies this week too, but we'll see, because this week is Incredibles 2, and I really want to see that.
Yeah, I want to see that too. I did see that there's going to be a Kaiju Max hardcover, but I'm probably going to stick with the soft covers. Tyler Trent says Heathen is on IST. Okay, good. So Heathen, Sidekick, and there's a couple others that I was. Eternal Empire. That's right. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna write this down in my phone because I keep forgetting. I am gonna make myself a note. New note. Okay, Heathen. Sidekick. Eternal. No, I already misspelled it. Eternal Empire. Okay, anything else I'm supposed to get? Does Havoc have his pen? Sunfire's still out of ink. He's not even holding his fire up right. He's losing his fire. Okay, Heathen, Sidekick, and Eternal Empire. I will definitely get that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick up that Thor Epic collection, and I'm really interested in Infinity Crisis Omnibus. I was really interested in getting that before, but we'll see how that goes. Because I just like it when a collection is like this, and it just is complete, all-in-one, absolutely everything. To me, that's more or less what an omnibus should be. It should be all-inclusive and have everything of a storyline. So.
Totally
this pretty
agree.
much seems to have that, and I respect that, and I want to check it out. Plus, I heard the old one had like the old kind of bad DC binding they were doing back then, where it was super tight, kind of like Hawkman was. So I think they've been really kind of picking up their quality a lot recently. So I'm giving them a shot with that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Havoc. I think it was Sunfire, and then it was also somebody else. I think it was Sunfire that was out of ink. No, Sunfire is actually posing here. He's like styling.
It's fabulous.
Jess, what book are you holding off reading in your collection because you're most likely to pour root beer on it? Huh. Sidekick, Heathen, and Eternal. No. I don't. You know, I've had a good streak recently. Like from the beginning of the year, I've read nothing but good books. I've been really happy with all the books I've read, so I haven't found anything that's really awful to pour root beer on. No, definitely not Nightfall. I would never pour root beer on Nightfall. I understand that people like it, and it's just not my cup of tea. I don't hate Nightfall.
You wouldn't pour root beer on Nightfall because you would never buy Nightfall in the first place.
Right. I don't know. I've had real good luck this year. I've had 6 months of nothing but good comics that I've been really happy with.
Is that okay? This just kind of make this like a 2-in-1 question. Do you think, or chicken or the egg kind of thing? Do you think that's because you're getting more picky with what you're buying and spending your money on, or do you think they're just putting out better quality stuff?
I think you're right in the first part. I think I'm getting pickier, and I rely on other people's referrals more. I'm not. I mean, I got a book the other day that just sounded good, and I bought it, and I had to give it to Fangirl, and I said, "You read this and tell me what you think of it," because I didn't understand it at all. It was called The Unsound by Cullen Bunn, and whom I love him as a writer, but I had no idea what was going on in that book. That's probably the first clunker I've had this year. I think I've just gotten pickier, relying on other people's opinions, what's good, recommendations, things like that.
Well, that's good. Good. I think I'll just come to that point at one point.
Academy.
Yeah. I think after a while, you kind of have to get to that point one way or the other, whether it's like a money crunch issue, a space issue, a time issue. I think there's always something that will hit you at one point that will make you only have the best of the best. Like the cream always rises to the top. So
right.
That's why a lot of these like newer kind of relaunches of stories and things like that. I'm glad I wait for things like oversized hardcovers, omnibuses, and things like that, just because it gives me enough time to kind of hear and pick up little things that people are saying about these books to make me want to try it out later. So I won't buy every trade paperback that comes out.
Right. That's a good point. That is a good reason to be a trade waiter, because you get enough opinions, you can figure out what's good and what's worth buying.
Yeah.
And
most of the time those trades are always out there. The hardcovers and the omnibuses for the most part. Unless you really wait on something like Hickman's Avengers or something like that. those trades and hardcovers are usually there. So if there's a book out there that you didn't pick up that you find out later is really good, you got a great chance of, going back and finding it somewhere.
And Chase Chu asks if I have the Stumptown hardcovers. I think I just have the paperbacks. I think they're like over in a corner there that I can't see right now. I'm pretty sure I just have the trades. But I've heard.
I think I have the first hardcover, I think, for Stumptown.
It's supposed to be great.
Yeah, it's a cool little Greg Rucka story about it's kind of like a noir storyline in Portland. It takes place in Portland, so sounds pretty cool.
And is a nickname for Portland Stumptown?
Yeah, it has something to do with cutting down trees across the river from Portland or something like that. It has to do something with there just literally being just stumps everywhere.
Ah, okay. Have you all read Heavy Vinyl? What's Heavy Vinyl, Tyler Trent? I haven't read it. Have you heard of Heavy Vinyl, Gabe?
No, just like a huge stack of records.
I don't know about Heavy Vinyl. Got it for $2.50 on eBay. That's cool.
Is that a good deal?
It's $2.50. Yeah, probably.
Oh, I thought you said 200. I thought you meant $250.
Oh no, $2.50.
Yeah, can't be that bad.
I think someone mentioned it on near mint condition, maybe. Okay, I'll ask Omar about it. Heavy vinyl. Have any of you read Big Man Plans by Eric Powell? It got me started back into comics. I have not read that. I love Eric Powell. Have you read that, Gabe?
No, I haven't. I like Eric Powell as well, but I don't really stray off too far from things like Goon or like Satan Sodomy Baby or that kind of stuff. He does a lot of crazy. I just love his art. Like there's just something just inherently beautiful about it, but gross at the same time. Like it's just really nice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think we can answer questions for another couple minutes if anybody has anything they want to toss out there.
I think everybody's watching the E3 announcements.
Is that right? Is that what we're up against?
I guess so. I know it's on now. I don't know if everybody's watching it, but there is that.
Either of you check out Cloak and Dagger yet? I have not. Has it been released?
Movie?
I think it's on
TV show?
what used to be ABC Family. It's called
Freeform or something.
Freeform, right? Exactly.
Yeah. No, I wasn't. I wasn't too sold with the commercials for it because I didn't see Cloak do anything Cloak-like. And that's what I really want to see. That's what's going to sell me on that story or on that show. Is if they could do Cloak in a cool way with his kind of just like disembodied kind of like floating cloth that sends you to like some terrible dimension kind of thing. Like I want to see that happen.
Yeah.
But they didn't show me that. And that's like, that's like the first Venom trailer where you didn't see Venom and people were upset by that. So it's, they're not showing me like the actual like hook at all. So I'll check it out. I'm not against it, but I don't feel like I need to run to watch it right now.
Yeah, tomorrow I have a little bit lighter of a day research-wise, so I think I'm going to catch up on Star Trek Discovery and start freaking Legion because I'm like 9 episodes behind on Legion. Season could be over already. I don't even know.
How many episodes are out in total for that show?
I think 8 or 9, and I'm behind on all of them.
Okay, I was about to say I've only seen like the first episode. And it first came out, and it was weird, and I didn't understand it, and that's kind of what I liked about it.
Yeah, it was crazy. That's what I really liked about it. Legion or Caldwell Comics is trying to decide what to read next: Doom Patrol by Grant Morrison, Colossal Conan, or Goon. Well, I know what my personal pick is. I love Goon, so I would recommend Goon.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what he likes and what he's into. But if you like Hellboy type stuff, but you want it to be a Hellboy with a peppering of kind of dirty humor, then definitely Goon for sure.
It ends tomorrow for the season. Legion ends tomorrow for the season?
I'm guessing so. It says 19 episodes. I'll never catch up to that. Jesus.
No, I don't think that 19 is right. I think it was more like 9 or 10. I think that might be a mistype.
Wow, I'd rather just go back and I'm trying to watch through Riverdale again.
That's for both seasons. Okay, I get that. That means
I haven't seen anything besides the pilot episode, so I am literally behind 19 episodes.
Okay, so that means that there were like 10 episodes this year or something. Oh, they continued the numbering into season 2. Okay. Kenny Crayley asks, should I get and read the Spider-Man Clone Saga? Thought about getting it, but have heard it's really bad. I've never read it because I heard it was really bad, so yeah. I've never purchased it. I heard it was awful. That's what Gio told me. So
Yeah, and Omar would tell you the same thing. I had some fun nostalgia for that story, but I'm sure if I read it now, I might have a different kind of taste to it again. But not to really shout out another podcast on our show, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Curtis from the Omnibus group has a podcast called the Epic Marvel Podcast, and he no, I'm totally lying. I'm sorry. It's this guy named Adam Driver, who I don't know if he's in the group or not, so whatever. But he has a podcast called Comic Shenanigans, and his most recent episode, he did a 3-hour interview with Ralph Macchio, who was this huge, big-time editor and assistant editor for Marvel.
3 hours?
Just 3 hours of them just talking about his career. It's really great. But they do get into a little bit about the Clone Saga, which explains why it was like bad, because it was drawn out so long, and Marvel just made them keep going with it, going with it, and going with it. But then he also talks about how no matter what, they put all their effort into making it as good as they can with what they got. So it's really kind of interesting that way. So I will listen to that, see if that gives you a better idea if you want to read it or not, and go from there. Because I want to read it again. I want to get those omnibus. I don't have them yet, but I want to read it just for the history of it, because Clone Saga might be as hated, if not more hated, maybe, than Brand New Day or One More Day or whatever it was called. So, but that's the kind of stuff that draws me to want to read something like that, especially from the 90s. When people say a book is bad from the 90s, I want to go back and reread it, because most of the time I end up enjoying it again. People are just typecasting it as garbage because it was the 90s.
Yavash is saying The Expanse. Is that what what are we supposed to do with The Expanse? Is that a book or a TV show or an album or what? A group? Yavash has like the exact same taste in everything I do. So what are you talking about there, Yavash? Gabe, do you think Gem Mint is going to make you do a 7-hour show like they did a couple weeks ago when he comes to Vegas?
I'd be down to do a live show with Jim again for as long as he needs to. I think that'd be kind of fun. I don't know about 7 hours of hardcore drinking and partying in the hotel room. It sounds great. Maybe 5 hours of that, because I do have to go home and put kids to sleep and deal with that kind of stuff, and that's really hard, difficult, and somewhat degrading to myself if I do that hungover. So I really feel bad, and I got to put my kids to bed. I'm kind of hungover or half drunk. Like, it just bothers me. So I try not to do that kind of stuff. Yeah,
I don't blame you. Yavash says it's a TV show based off a book series. Best sci-fi show for years. Huh? The Expanse. All right, I will check that. I'll write that down too.
Tyler Trent's talking about how he's kind of embarrassed that he likes The 100, which I think is a Sci-Fi Channel show. That was a great show. I probably saw like almost the entire first season, and I fell in love with it. I really want to go back and try and check it out again. Have you heard about that show, just The 100?
I have heard about it, yeah, but I haven't watched it.
It's pretty cool. It takes place in, I'm going to say, kind of like a near future where our population is so bad that we send a bunch of people out into space, and they live on a space station, and they're only allowed to have one sibling or one child. And it kind of turned into like, if you have a second child, you have to kill it and stuff like that.
Whoa.
And this woman had a second child without anybody knowing about it. And when they did find out about it, instead of killing the child, they kind of stuck it in like a penitentiary, like a juvenile hall. And a juvenile hall is full of 100 different people. That's where that 100 title comes from. And just because they're tired of feeding them, they don't have the resources to feed them and take care of them and stuff like that, that they basically just kind of escape pod them down to like another planet. And you're kind of just following that story around.
Oh, and leave them to fend for themselves?
Basically, yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock. We've been on for a while. InStockTrades.com, where you can get up to 50% off your collected editions. Loyalty discounts add 2 to 3%. Every quarter, you get an Omnibroslive discount. Over $50 in orders gets you free shipping in the United States. Fabulous customer service, as evidenced by our interview with Emily last week. And fantastic packaging. That's InStockTrades.com, our sponsor. And I agree with Gabe. Riverdale does have the hottest chicks on TV.
That's a fact, man. That's a fact.
Yikes. I can't even argue that.
I mean, the kids are hot. The parents are hot. Like, I don't care. It's awesome.
Miss Grundy was hot.
Oh, yeah, she was. It's like the male version, like Drool. You know how like CW's known for guys with their shirts off and stuff like that all the time. This is the male version of that, where these girls always kind of seem to have their shirts off and they're changing in a locker room where they're in bikinis and stuff like that. It's great. It's great.
Okay, Gabe, where on the internet can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, everybody, under Gabe Infinity Watch. You can find me there. And you can find me on the Omnibus Collectors Facebook group.
And you can find me, OmniDog, on YouTube's channel, my YouTube channel, OmniDog's Vault. And I swear I'm going to get going on my Instagram, OmniDogs_Vault. I'm so bad at it. I'm going to get going on it, though. This week will be a good week for me to do it, because I certainly have enough stuff to post. So, on behalf of the Omnibros Live crew, we say to you, thank you for watching. Thank you, everybody in the chat. This is great. We had a good chat tonight, and it was a fun topic. And we had 4 out of the 5 Omnibros on, so it was great.
Yeah.
And so we say goodnight with peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you for watching.
Good night, everybody.